Everyone, today we have the pleasure of sitting down with Stefy, a trailblazer in both the motorsports and esports industry. Stefy, thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Vicky. It's a pleasure to be here.
Stefy, could you please introduce yourself and share what inspired you to establish Init Motorsports and Esports?
So I am originally from Italy and I've been involved in the motorcycle industry my entire life. I was a little girl that asked my parent to have a motorcycle at the age of 4. They bought it for me, and
Wow.
since then I started competing, and I was able to win 7 Italian titles, motorcycle
Wow.
titles, and then I also was able to win 3 world titles in the women category. I also became the first woman to race with the men on the top of the sport. And that kind of like ended up making the person that I am, which is trying to continue to break glass ceiling for women in motorsport. Then let's fast forward to about 2020 when the world changed for everybody. I was in Italy just before the pandemic really hit, and I noticed my little niece that she was spending 2 to 3 hours a day watching people playing video games. So
Right.
at that point, I'm like, maybe there is something here that I could potentially leverage to bring a more female into motorsport by using sim racing. So up to that point, my only involvement in esport was that when I was on top of my game for my sport, I was featured in 2 video games. So I'm a character in 2 video games. But
Wow.
beside that, I had a very limited experience in esport as a whole. So in 2020, when I got that light bulb moment, I ended up studying and learning and then opening Init Sport. So Init Sport is the only women-led company in the field of sim racing. So with that, we create a full-on pathway to participation. So because of that, we have created a very big movement. It's called a Screen to Speed. And with that, we really, help women, from all over the world connect with us through the gaming industry and then taking the right step to eventually have a seat in a real race car team. So this is what we do in a nutshell, for Init Sports. But then I am also part of the Global Esport Federation, and in that I am on the board. So by being on the board, that's exactly what we are trying to do. We are trying to involve more countries to see the potential, from esport and be able to create direct, I guess, in some ways, the younger demographic to the goals, of sustainability, diversity, inclusion, and kind of bring more like a overall welcoming feeling to the esport world.
Well, amazing. Your journey is truly inspiring. You cover your personal experience and how you bring it from personal, trying to encourage a whole community, starting from female racer, because exactly you're starting from your niece and for yourself and how to actually to bring the accessibility. Well, that's truly inspiring. I think in your field, collaboration with sponsor and partner is crucial, right? In both motorsports and esports sector. Could you delve into, what would be the primary objective and the criteria guiding your selection of partners?
Yes, so like in every sport, motorsport and esport, live with sponsor. Why? Because we have the audience. So we are able to have this big number of people that participate in competition, and therefore sponsor can directly connect with this type of audience. So for me, the important thing is always to be authentic. So when we speak with a potential partner, it's important for them to understand that by getting involved with what we do, it's a possibility for them to generate more business. But most important nowadays is for them to be authentic with the younger demographic. Esport tend to be very young, and the kids nowadays, they really like to be catered to, but in the same time, they want to be able to be part of something that they believe in. So they will read right through you if you are just trying it to get their attention. That's not what the demographic wants. So they want more to be feel that they are part of something. So for us as a tournament organizer, a promoter, we create that bridge. So we are speaking both languages, and therefore we can help brands understand the impact that they can have on the younger demographic, which by default, if it's done right, they become loyal to you.
And could you please spotlight a particularly successful partnership campaign that you have spearheaded, and what are the key factors that contribute to its success?
Yes, so like a very good example here is when we organized the first ever Screen to Speed event. So Screen to Speed is literal, so from digital world to in real life, which was a competition that started out online to select women from all over the world that play on iRacing in the game, and then
Right.
get them to a real racetrack to compete in simulator while
Hmm.
the NASCAR race was happening around us.
Wow.
So the woman that won that in real life competition on simulators not only got to walk on the stage, like with all of this, the champion of NASCAR, but we also brought her back to the same racetrack, and therefore she got the chance to test in a 911 Porsche race car. So really achieve the pathway. And this is something that we were able to communicate and therefore sell to brands. So we work with the Pennzoil, which is Shell, and Ford,
Right.
which is a car company, because they understood the importance to connect with the demographic that they might not have a chance to reach, like by using gaming, and therefore really show their interest in DEI in an industry they tend to be male dominated. So we were able to achieve all these key performance by doing again an authentic event that kind of like fits with the message that they want their brand to be known for.
And on the flip side, we know there are so many successful campaigns, but as an entrepreneur, I'm sure there's something you can learn from
Oh,
things
yes.
not so successful as well. So could you please recount an instance, say a partnership campaign didn't meet expectation, and what valuable insight did you gain from that experience?
Yes, like one that we did that it didn't hit what we thought it was going to hit was a competition that we ran for Women International Day. So you think that, I mean, that's the day, that everybody
Yeah,
wanted
all the
to
women should shine.
showed up and shine and watch, like, but for some reason that one was the one of the last seen competition we created, and it's very baffling, why.
Oh.
So we are still like looking into it, and we probably like are gonna learn more and more, and maybe it was a timing, maybe it was
Hmm.
something. So the lesson out of this is that even though you think that something would be a no-brainer, maybe like it comes up and it say that it didn't work. But again,
Mm.
like you said, it's all about learning from it, and identify what can we do better for next time. Yeah.
So, wow, definitely. That's interesting learning. It's so useful for us. In your field, how do social media and streaming platform factor into your sponsorship and marketing strategy? Obviously, sim racing is all about simulators, digital, and how do you approach expanding your presence on this platform?
Yes, so of course we use ambassador, because by being involved into a sport that lives on people, like we really work with that. So because we have the community, like we leverage the community and we give space to the individuals that they are really like living and breathing, the same passion. So, and that can be gamers or also in real life a female race car driver, because we are all in it, no pun intended, to be able to create something that benefit everybody that is involved into women in motorsport as a whole. So for us, those are the key metric, is like to use and leverage the community. So leverage the people and be able to use the social media, of course, to tell the story. So what we are trying to do is to create a baseline. So having
Wow.
so many women, so at that point, like when opportunities happen, now we have more, option to give it to different ambassador, player, athletes and whatnot. In return, like for them, being part of the community becomes a win-win because we are able to provide this opportunity to them, like, and therefore on the other end, they supported it because we are doing something that has never been done for this particular category of people.
Fantastic, bravo, indeed. They got exposure, they got the media reach as well. So, Stefy, what are your insight on the emerging trend? Looking to the future, right? What are the emerging trends within motorsports and esports?
Well, I actually feel that finally we are cracking that glass ceiling for women in motorsport. Everybody is starting to realize that there is a demographic that has been oversight for way too long. And now,
Right.
thanks to our effort, but also thanks about all of the girls that continue to show more and more through social media their interest into the motorsport. Now this is growing, and also sim racing as a whole. It's a very interesting industry. So now we are having a lot of success to do even events with fields that are completely far away from motorsport because it becomes entertainment. So now, like if you give somebody an experience and that they can come and sit in a simulator and compete, with the other celebrity or compete in a team building experience, now all of a sudden, like they are happy they did something that it was experiential for them, and therefore like you create this feel good way of being part of something. So brands love this, communities love this, and it's a very good upward trend to be able to engage with audience. They are not necessarily part of motorsport as a whole.
And the last question, of course, Stacey, as a female entrepreneur in both motorsports and esports, which are quite still male-dominated fields, how do you actively promote? And obviously, Init was created for that as well. How do you promote diversity and equality within these sectors?
Yes, okay. Well, we really try in within the company culture to really walk the talk. What I mean by that is that all of the people they are part of Init, they have a different background, they are different gender, like so we really give there are people with disabilities. So we give everybody a chance to be able to do what they love. And it goes again with the same, I know this over used this word, but authenticity on what we're doing. So for us, it's incredibly important to show that every member in our team inside the company live the same culture, and the same, like message than the company is putting out there.
Wow, that's amazing. Fantastic interview conversation. We learned so much from you. Thank you, Stacey, for sharing your insights, experience with us today. It's been a pleasure speaking with you.
It's been fantastic. Thank you, Vicky, and until next time.